welcome the short time I have to speak on this, and let it go without saying that I fully appreciate the work of all the workers on the ground. And let me use my time to highlight what's been brought to my attention. So I have a file here of a whole range of human experiences, and there are 13,000 households still without power as I stand here today, quite a lot of them in Galway County and some of them in the city. And I have a letter here that was sent to the Taoiseach and all of the TDs in Galway. I'm not going to read it out, but it's from a doctor, and she sets out in 7 paragraphs under the headings communication, health, electricity, water, business, community hubs and government role. I couldn't put it any better, and I don't think any minister could put it better. I advise you to read that. And practical suggestions and an absolute dismay at no proactive work in relation to that. And then I, as a human being, as a mother, I cannot identify with the government that allows somebody that relies on a heist and electricity, just as one practical example, to get into a bed and they can't. Nobody to ring. That's exactly what happened in relation to it. But I'm going to come off the anecdotes because this, although the storm was unprecedented, the government had plenty of warning of what we needed to do. And so we have a Climate Advisory Council, and they quite helpfully do a report every single year. And they have 7 key recommendations, and they also have key observations. And I didn't hear any minister, or I didn't hear the Taoiseach discuss the lack of action in relation to those key recommendations and those key observations in every area. And then separately, there's a subcommittee that Professor Peter Thorne sits on it. And he says specifically that the fact that it was unprecedented, he dismisses the excuse that this was an unprecedented moment because in a reasonable worst-case scenario, this should have been anticipated, and goes on to give examples of how that should have been done. And then if we look at Galway City, I was at a presentation last week in relation to infrastructure and the lack of it in Galway. Top of the list is flood defences, which has gone from an estimate of 9 million to 50 million and rising. Top of the list. No further development is possible without doing this. So in my moments today, what I want to conclude by saying is the storm might have been unprecedented. Our failure to act on previous storms during 23 alone, I think we had 11 named storms. The trend in 24 was the same. This ferocity of this storm was worse, but we knew in advance, and we need to take action in relation to making our infrastructure resilient, and we've utterly failed. Garma.